First of all, we will write sine x plus 2 is equals to 3. We will shift this 2 on the other side. So we have sine x is equals to 3 minus 2. So that would be equals to 1. So now we will take square on both sides. So that would become sine square x is equals to 1. So now again we will take the square root on both sides. So sine square x is equals to square root of 1. So we will have sine x is equals to plus minus 1. In the next step, we will separate them to simplify. So I would write sine x is equals to plus 1. So I will find the basic angle alpha. So we'll take sine inverse of 1. So we'll use the calculator to find the sine inverse of 1. So here we have sine inverse of 1, that is pi by 2. So let me write it. So that would become pi by 2. So we know that the sine is positive in the first and the second quadrant. Here you can see the sine is positive in the first quadrant and the sine is positive in the second quadrant. For the first quadrant, we know that our x is equals to alpha. For the second quadrant, we know that our x is equals to. So here we have our first quadrant and the second quadrant. So in first quadrant, x would be equals to alpha, and for the second quadrant we have x is equals to pi minus alpha, because the sign is positive in both quadrants. So now here for the first quadrant we will write x is equals to alpha. That means x would be equals to pi by 2, and for the second quadrant we will write x is equals to pi minus alpha. So that will be pi minus pi by 2. Again that would become pi by 2. Now we will check for sine x of -1. So we will write over there sine of x is equals to -1. Now we will again find the basic angle. So we'll take sine inverse of 1. I told you before, this negative sign shows the basic quadrants. So the sign is negative in quadrant number 3 and in the quadrant number 4. So the alpha would again pi by 2. So now for the third quad we will write x is equals to pi plus alpha. That means pi plus pi by 2. So that would become 3 pi by 2. And for the quadrant number 4 we have x is equals to 2 pi minus alpha. So 2 pi minus pi by 2. So that would become also 3 pi by 2. So we will check our answers. Here we'll take sine of 3 pi divided by 2. So here we have the answer -1.